Hello, everybody. What's happening? I want to talk about something that I saw in the charts. And I'm not an alcoholic. Just realized I need a little bit of super fuel in the morning to just get over that edgy anxiety that I'm having. And I have it always when my trades don't hit. So let's talk about that and what I see in the clouds. I mean, not in the clouds, I mean in the charts. All right. Let's turn a little bit so serious here. And of course, I didn't drink alcohol. I only used my meds. Let's not go into detail of my meds. Why not? These meds are going to give you the same competitive edge than me. Basically, new versions of Adderall, Ritalin, and Concerta, all together blended in one drug that you can find the link in the description. And if you do my link, where I'm gonna make significant money from you, you can help me to generate a little bit of wealth for yourself. Once you take this shit and get to the same level of brilliance as me. All right. So okay, let's of course let's start a little bit on a more serious note here. By the way, these are Richard Fart's glasses, Louis Vuitton. My story is this. 4 weeks ago, I got robbed. I lost everything, including my crypto and my ledgers. This was actually after I was for 2 months in a hospital. The first glasses that I bought, and believe it or not, they were 7 euros. 7 euros. And what I really like about them, I look a little bit up, okay, and I can see the charts more bright because they have this thing where you have basically more transparency to the downside, and then you have more protection from the sunlight on the upper side of the glass. And once I doubled my money and doubled it and doubled it and doubled it again, basically what happened last year to hex, now we have the inverse hex, rect hex pattern, and only doing the opposite. So, but luckily, I didn't have to watch all my hex going to zero because already someone stole it. I mean, stole the ledger, but was too dumb to actually move it. Despite the fact that I was dumb enough to give enough of indications what the seed is and what the password is. If you're one of the fuckers who stole it from me, look, I'm not even to take it personal. Password is 777777, 7 times 7. That's okay. So, see, the best protection doesn't even save you from anything. Not in crypto, not in the world. The best condoms can wipe up in your face, blow up in your face, or maybe not in your face. All right. So let's talk about how I was wrong. My analysis was wrong. My analysis was wrong, basically, right? Because it went all to the shitters. It was last week. I was pretty sure that by the end of last week we would see Bitcoin, at 18K and then dropping further down to 16. Nothing of that has happened. We have seen a big to 18, but the big question mark is how is it so difficult to, I'm not saying predict, but to connect the dots to get to the level of confluences where you have at least a 80% probability to go in the right direction, whether it is short term or long term. Now, yeah, overall, yes, you wouldn't lose money if you would follow the same shorts and longs, but of course, in the beginning, it kind of looked like it would play out. We all know that the deep fat short to 16K has never happened. So let's look a little bit at maybe what's happening instead right now. Before I get into the charts happening right now, I actually have some news. I have a very professional lady who has updated my CV because having $50 in my trading account might not get me very far, especially not to multi-billion dollars of Richard Fart, or at least get me to $500,000 where I was before. So I said, okay, I have to actually start to do a job. So this is actually my new CV now. It's a little bit different than most CVs because my original CV didn't get me a lot of traction. Like basically, I didn't get invited in any kind of job interviews. Yeah, what can I say? One of the most accomplished sales individuals, work for Salesforce, Oracle, LinkedIn. And how is it possible that here all these low-level gaming companies don't even consider me to be part of the process? So then, but they all realized my CV was too boring, was 5 pages long. It was just like a nightmare to read. So, and then my consultant came up with this little bit personal on the balcony, a picture, a little bit more like God made me instead of like wearing these kind of, boring suits. So I'm basically not talking about all the things I did, but mainly talking about one big company I spent 5 years, and that actually, if you read that as a recruiter, you probably will understand that Salesforce is one of the companies that are only recruiting the top 10% of salespeople. They have a very complicated interview process where they filter out all the low-level players, and then they hire people like me. And if you don't get fired after 6 months, then you have basically it confirmed that you are one of the 10%. And now what they're doing next is they are turning the top 10% into the top 1%. And if you're staying longer than, let's say, a couple of years, and you survive, they turn you into an excellent sales professional. And then you're probably part of 0.1% of intelligent motherfuckers who did not only make consistent sales for over 3 years, but consistently promoted to roles that normal men only dream about. I think if you, as a recruiter, read something like that, that is kind of definitely not put that away and say, hey, let's look at some other CVs. Look at the other hundreds of CVs that are all the same. Yeah. Maybe I can give some of the people who are at the moment facing to go back into the workforce, who went all in at Hex, same. So a little bit of numbers. Okay? So that's why I went straight into the numbers. I didn't only coach and mentor other account executives at Salesforce, but I also achieved 137% quota for 2010. That was when I got hired, and 55% year-over-year growth in new business. It sounds boring, but you have to bring it in because data is kind of basically the main thing that is moving the needle these days, right? And then but then I go back to become like authentic again. And because you have no fucking idea what that means, let me just tell you, that's a big fucking thing that people are only the most intelligent and the most ambitious people can achieve. And no, and I'm now talking to the recruiter, no, you're probably not one of them and never will be. I'm a man who just doesn't just try to a basic job. He was still talking to the recruiter. Little bit provocation. So the recruiter wants to prove me wrong, right? So this is all to do with reverse psychology, according to that analyst. I am a man who can do whatever the fuck I want, which is why I fuck with your wife, plus expose your incompetence if you don't buy my services. Now I have to ask what she actually means with buy my services, because I'm not selling services. I want to get hired in this company. And here's a little bit more about myself and how I can add value to any team. I love to add value by improving teams, by making the idiots seem as if they can be productive. I provide insights that give teams an illusion of modern competitive edge. If you want to hear more about these insights, contact me. I won't make the presentation too complicated. They will all love to hear that because nobody wants to have too many pages on the CV and make it very complicated. That was the big mistake that I had. So I said, I won't make it complicated. So all of you who have 4 brain cells that are trying to form a coherent thought will not get over challenged. You got your job, now I'm talking to the recruiter again, most likely only because of your connections. I won't bother you with bullshit, but I could give you a transcript that will make you sound like you have truly achieved something when you present these to other idiots. Now, someone reads that, okay, they don't know, is that kind of a slightly sarcastic, provocative, but they definitely can see that this is not just an average employee, but that's a straight shooter that has upper management all written on his body, right? So then coming to the end, see, basically, it's really short. I don't even talk about all my experience. I pick one company that defines who I am as a professional, where I achieved the most success and was the hardest to get in. That is basically enough, you know. I will actually get results, but you will never notice a difference. So I won't bother you with details. Finally, a little bit about what I like, about what I'm excited about personally. I'm excited about companies that have a clear strategy and are achieving something, which is very likely not yours. And fuck that wife for once better than I do. Now, that last part, I guess, could be a little, I'm not really sure. I want to keep it like this because you have to be provocative, but you shouldn't be condescending. So now, where were we? Let's look into the charts. What's happening right now? So what we saw yesterday was really a relief rally, and it was quite funny because sometimes I really do watch some YouTubers like Crypto who got wrecked all the way down since 70K, and he comes up with, I don't know where he finds money, but he sold his Lambo, lost it in the trade, and now he thought we have the bottom is in. I'm putting my pension savings on the line. No, he did that already and he lost the deal. But then he said he kind of found another million. I think he sold an apartment in Dubai, and he was very happy because he was partly in a profit. He was already like 500. He was 500,000 in a profit, right? And he's now in zero profit. And actually, when the price goes to the target, 1800, actually a little bit before, if I remember correctly, 18,300, he will get liquidated. And I'm pretty much sure that he will get liquidated. But he has enough money. I mean, yes, he has to sell another Lambo and get a little bit more liquidity and then make the same mistakes all over again. This TA is super basic. You cannot, like, it is a joke. If TA would be so easy like he makes it, then everybody would be successful in trading, margin trading, whatever markets you're talking about. So where are we right now? I personally be sure we're going at least to the price level that Bitcoin hits during the day, and then Bitcoin, of course, hits the upper range. You could I mean, if you're not completely blind, you could see these, they are called fish and golfing dildos, or golfing candles, where there's just a lot of sand coming in. That's typically a sign of a trend reverse. But yeah, when we had here this kind of triangle where you have the same, cannot really see it very good right now, but it doesn't matter. You have these patterns all out. These patterns, like, painting some lines and seeing some head and shoulders like this. For instance, this is like a head and shoulders. And then you have like thousands of other things that you see in the chart. But this is not like, this is analysis. This has to be about statistics. It cannot be about something you see in the chart. That is called divination. It's like when a shaman is using his tools. For instance, he takes a few of pieces of wood, he throws it on the ground, and then he sees a pattern, and then says, we should go into war against this tribe because God is in our favor. That has not even worked for these people, let alone here in a very complex, statistical driven, data driven business. And it is mostly that. There's no underlying value, there's no fundamentals in this market. That's why actually TA works surprisingly good. But of course, it's not only that. There's economical parts you need to keep that into account as well. And one of the things I'm puzzled until today, we had last week, at Wednesday, the announcement of the Fed to increase the interest rates by 0.75% of basis points. And then 2 days later, Putin said he's going to send potentially another 300,000 to the war in Ukraine. And these were two cataclysmic events. Both were kind of, you could have said, they were priced in the chart because people expected the Fed to increase hikes a bit. But of course, hopium dies in the end. And there were, of course, a lot of people spooked, and damn, I hope the Fed would reverse course because the stock markets are falling. And we have our midterm elections. And Donald Trump, if he still had Twitter, he would go all and over how the stocks are falling, and that Biden should not talk anymore with economists because he doesn't even remember what day it is, and if he's in his home state in Vermont or Virginia or in California. Delaware is his home state. I'm getting sidetracked. But it's important to take confluences of all these outside factors. That's why I am pretty good with this compared to like a lot of other people. And that's why there was also the idea. When I was in the hospital, there was a guy who said, you and someone else who also got robbed, spent the whole time in the hospital, said, you guys have to help people to understand this and do something about it. And then we said, okay, let's do that. Let's rent an office where we talk to the Maltese people about it. And they don't fucking care. They're too lazy. They only trust in things they can touch. And that is typically real estate. So we have our office open already since some months. Luckily, we didn't pay it. It was a Maltese guy who said, this is going to turn into a gold mine. But then he talked to his wife. The wife was already not sure, but she has no fucking clue. But then he talked to his daughter, and her daughter is a trader. It's like she works at a bank, is an analyst and trader. And she said, if you invest 5,000, which is like nothing for him, he has 750,000 on the bank account. I told him, are you aware that you lost 750,000? No, he has 750,000 on the bank account. And are you not aware? Because he felt safe with the money on the bank account. But are you not aware that you lost in the last 12 months 75,000? And he lives quite a modest life. He doesn't buy gay Gucci handbags like Richard Ford, or he drives. Okay, he drives an SUV, but he could definitely drive a Lambo because he has also several houses. But he is kind of feet on the ground. Problem, feet too much on the ground, and his daughter even more. And then he had to make a decision: either lose his daughter or lose out to make millions. He decided his daughter was more important for me. I totally respect, people who put their family first and everything else second. But yeah, that's it. And now we have to basically find people who want us to manage their trades. But of course, not on our own trading platform, but we create accounts for these people so everybody can take their money out and so on and so forth. But I also said last week, really don't want to do that right now because it is really hard to predict the market. It makes no sense. This Bitcoin rally yesterday made no sense. Just scream fake all over. But at the same time, you always have to ask yourself, is there something you didn't see? And now we see exactly the same. What I see unfolding, yeah, is we go back to target I had actually yesterday. So after we had broken this was actually what every crypto covered. We broken this to the downside of pattern that broke out to the downside, and it was stabilized a little bit, and suddenly there was a pull coming. See, it's not related to any fucking pattern. It's just probably some whale who tries to do some manipulation, and then some other people joined in the party, well too, and then but still, there suddenly you could see sense a flip towards the bullish momentum, and then we were riding the wave all the way up here to 20K, and normally it goes slower, up with the staircase, down with the elevator. It's supposed to be sustainable, but something like that, it's just a fucking just pump it up. And now people will think, look, this is a head and shoulders pattern. Now we're probably going further down. We're definitely doing that, in my opinion. But before we do that, we see a big relief rally and then down. Existences. That's it. I might tune in later a little bit or at the end of the day just to see if things went where I thought predicted. And I have enough now about this gig. Louis Vuitton glasses. Fuck you, Richard Hart. You told the people if you trade, you get wrecked, and if you do margin trading, you get wrecked faster. Guess who's wrecked now?